We are drinking a ton of water. All right. Put that floodgate up. Release all this water downstream. Turn the pumps back on. We've gone through about 1,000 water. Gotta be careful. RocketLab is online. Okay. Beavergation. All right. We'll quickly jump into an Electron launch, and then we'll get back to Timberborn. Switch us over to science and technology. We will watch the RocketLab and go to a space. Changing up the title. Boca road closure coming up within a few minutes for Booster 7 lifting operations. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Mario. Dude, we got rocket launches out the wazoo, man. It's unbelievable. 6 rocket launches this week. I ain't even mad, dude. I ain't even mad. This is freaking great. It's been a fun week at the Cape. For sure. Have päivä out, Terve. What's going on, man? There's a trailer for a Mario Brothers 3D movie, or 3D, I say computer graphic movie drummer. It's kind of crazy. Doing well, my man. We do be launching again. Yeah, that's fair. To go to launch the rocket. The launch of the rocket is very good. You see, a main aerospace company is attempting to send cremated remains into space. Yeah, what are they called? Blue Shift or something? I think it's more Black Sky Satellites, drummer, but I could be wrong on that one. Darius, you know what I'm really waiting on? I'm really waiting on someone to figure out a way to launch rockets off the Cape Cod National Seashore. Right? Like right here would be a great launch site. You could get to the ISS from here easily. You get to the space station. You wouldn't really have a polar launch per se, but hey, Sile. Actually, more like down here would be better, but I think there's too many people living there. Too many houses and whatnot. But then again, people don't really live out on these dunes, but that's because it's the National Seashore. Let's see, how far are we away from civilization if we padded it up right there? 2 miles. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad, dude. You could put a launch site here. People would probably get mad though, because you can't really do anything down there without somebody getting mad. You building a house there? No. But then people have to visit Massachusetts. I'm gonna let that one slide. I'm gonna let that one slide, Cibex. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that, okay? But NIMBY, they're 2.5 miles away. And there's already a road. Oh yeah, man, that would be sick. It'll clog the roads even worse. Ain't nobody gonna whine about money, dude. Actually, yeah, dude, right here next to Chatham on the National Seashore would be a great spot for a launch site. There's no one there. We'd have to build a road out there, but it looks like there's some cranberry bogs there too, but I don't think. I mean, cranberries don't care about rockets. Yeah, dude, that'd be a good place to launch. Why a road? Just make a seaport. Yeah. I mean, a seaport would probably be even worse. They'd be worried about the environment. That's the big thing around here. Everybody worries about my environment, you know? You know what I'm saying? But that would be sick. Not too far from my house either. Anyway, we're waiting on RocketLab. They have the, just on the title screen here. They launch out of the former Brunswick Naval Air Station in Loring Air Force Base. Blue Shift isn't far from where I live, actually. Cool. Yeah, Jen, there's a couple of buildings out there, but yeah, I mean, imagine you'd be worried about lots of snow all the time. Florida rains, but at least it's warm and infrequent rain. Infrequent rain. Okay. It doesn't really snow that much down there, Ivo. You're too close to the ocean. True, seriously. I mean, sometimes it gets cold, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it does snow. There is footage of, like, the ocean frozen down there from a couple of winters ago, but not long-lasting rain. There you go. Ah, here we go. Oh, jeez. Let's go. All right, here we go.
Hello and a bright and early good morning from RocketLab's Mission Control Center. We are bringing you a live view of Electron on Pad B at RocketLab Launch Complex 1 in Mahia, New Zealand. I'm Felicity Powell, and I'm so glad you're joining us for the launch of RocketLab's 31st Electron launch, a mission we've called It Argos Up From Here. The mission is a dedicated launch for our customer General Atomics Electromagnetic Systems Group, supporting the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the French National Center for Space Studies. Right now, we are 17 minutes away from target liftoff at 0609 local time, or 1709 UTC. Today we have an instantaneous opportunity for launch, but if we need to stand down for any reason, we do have backup opportunities available in the coming days. Today's launch will be our 8th for the year. This sets a new record as our busiest launch year yet, surpassing our previous annual record of 7 missions. Since April this year, we've also successfully maintained a monthly launch cadence, which we're on track to maintain for the rest of the year. Very exciting stuff. Scheduled for liftoff today, though, is a dedicated launch for General Atomics. Electron will launch the Gazelle satellite carrying Argos 4 advanced data collection system to the Argos constellation on behalf of the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also known as NOAA, as well as France's National Center for Space Studies. This mission supports an international program that collects data from about 13,000 transmitters operating around the globe, serving a host of applications including tracking of buoys, fishing vessels and wildlife, collection of environmental data such as ocean temperature profiles, river levels and even animal heart rates, and observation of ocean parameters such as currents, temperature and color. Let's hear more about General Atomics and its payload.
Buoys, like it. Buoys. The things that bob around in the ocean.
Welcome to the launch of the General Atomics Gazelle spacecraft to low Earth orbit. I'm Greg Burgess, Vice President of GAEMS's Space Systems Division. The Gazelle spacecraft is hosting 2 payloads, the NOAA-provided Argos 4 animal tracking payload and the Radmon radiation monitoring system. We are proud to join our partners at NOAA, CNES, the U.S. Space Force, KSAT, and RocketLab to launch this critical capability to capture, process, and distribute environmental data globally. The Gazelle spacecraft is the first satellite that General Atomics has built as part of our science and weather program. It's based on the same platform we used for the Orbital Testbed 1 satellite we launched in 2019, as well as the base platform for our NASA Thesis 2 spacecraft scheduled for launch in 2024. Lofting the Argos 4 payload will significantly increase the speed and reach of the Argos constellation, joining its sisters in space.
My guess, fellas, is that they tag the animals and can track the heart rates from there. It's probably doing that. It's probably something relatively low tech that they can see with the satellite, like on a tagged animal. That's my guess. Like, if they could just straight track the heart rates from like the satellite with no tag on it, then I'd be a little like, okay.
Eels, turtles, dolphins, and many more. This also includes ocean applications, including weather stations in very remote locations such as Antarctica and Greenland, among many others. The US is the largest Argos user of 100+ countries that have Argos applications. NOAA Fisheries is the largest US user with more than 30 individual programs for seals, turtles, and many other aquatic species in the Atlantic, Pacific, Gulf of Mexico, Arctic, and Antarctic. NOAA is honored to have been a partner with CNES for the provision of the Argos system since the late 1970s, and thrilled Argos 4 will take us to 50 years of cooperation.
For this program, General Atomics is providing a true end-to-end commercial space capability by designing and building the satellite, hosting a payload for our customer, performing all integration and testing, and operating the space system once it's on orbit. We've procured the launch service from RocketLab, and we also contracted with KSAT to provide a commercial path for rapidly getting the data to researchers worldwide. We know that our work today will deliver an enduring legacy for many years to come. Understanding the movement and habits of animals helps us better understand the amazing species that we share the planet with, and will help humanity learn how to be better stewards of all life on Earth.
In addition to launching the satellite on Electron, our team in New Mexico supplied the solar panels that will power the spacecraft once in orbit using the very high-efficiency IMM Alpha solar cells, a best-in-class efficiency solar cell that is more than 40% lighter than typical space-grade solar cells. It is now 05:56 here at Mission Control, and we're approaching T-minus 12 minutes in the count. Soon, our operators will run through the go, no-go poll led by Launch Director Michael Pearson. Let's throw it over to Mission Control and check in on how we're tracking for launch.
Hello? Where is this launch if it's dark? The Mahia Peninsula on the northern island in New Zealand.
All stations LD on mission, proceeding with the go, no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is going.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Chat.
Vcon.
Beacon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
Met is go.
MM.
Fast forward.
And LD's up.
LD's up to go.
Chat
Go,
is
no-go
go.
sequence complete. We are T-minus 11 minutes and 15 seconds and counting. And we are go for terminal count at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word hold procedure is in effect.
And just like that, confirmation from Mission Control that all systems are healthy, and we'll be proceeding with the remainder of the count. The T0 liftoff time remains 0609 New Zealand local time, or 1709 UTC in approximately 10 minutes time. Today's mission is our 31st Electron launch, but soon enough, another rocket will take to the skies bearing a RocketLab logo. That's right, I'm talking about the Neutron rocket, which will be launching from Wallops Island in Virginia. Recently, we announced a major step in the Neutron development program, selecting NASA's historic Stennis Space Center in Mississippi as the test complex for Neutron's Archimedes engine. Let's take a closer look at that facility now.
Since its formation in 1961, NASA's Stennis Space Center in Mississippi has operated as America's premier propulsion test site and has tested the engines for the Apollo, Space Shuttle, and Space Launch Systems programs.
The A3 stand.
Now, it's also going to be the home of Rocket Lab's Archimedes engine test program, playing a vital role in the development of our Neutron rocket. The Archimedes Test Complex will be located within the larger A Test Complex at Stennis and will include exclusive use of land within a 1 million square foot area for 10 years. The complex will include exclusive use and development of existing industrial NASA infrastructure and the center's A3 test stand to develop and test Neutron's Archimedes reusable engines. By expanding Stennis Space Center to include the Archimedes Test Complex, we plan to bring new, high-tech jobs to the state of Mississippi. At the same time, construction continues at the Neutron Production Complex and launch site at Wallops Island, located within NASA Wallops Flight Facility and Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport on Virginia's eastern shore. Combined, the two sites represent over 2 million square feet of operations for Neutron's production, testing, and launch facilities.
Seemed to be just that A3 test stand footage.
This is such an exciting time for Rocket Lab, and we are moving full steam ahead on developing Neutron, which will further open access to space to improve life on Earth.
Stage LD mission.
LD stage.
And proceed with sequence 57, stage terminal checks.
Copy, proceeding with sequence 57.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 high voltage batteries ready for flight.
Interesting, Forge. Why is it nighttime? Because in parts of the world, the sun isn't up right now. The launch site's in New Zealand, guys. That's where Electron launches out of right now.
GC LD mission.
LDGC.
Yeah, Vulcan. Probably make it a
Proceed with sequence 58, launch pad ready.
Roger, proceeding with launch pad ready.
It's now approximately 7 minutes before
actually
liftoff,
super early in
and
the
while
morning
today's
over there.
mission is lifting off from Launch Complex 1, our teams in Virginia are gearing up for our very first launch from US soil in December. Electron has arrived at Launch Complex 2 and is undergoing final integration checks ahead of payload integration and launch. Before we get to launch, though, our team will perform what is known as a wet dress rehearsal, a critical test that we conduct for each and every mission.
Interesting.
A wet dress rehearsal is essentially a practice launch day, where the rocket is rolled out to the pad, and we undertake all the same steps that we would on a real launch day, including filling Electron with liquid oxygen and kerosene, hence the name wet dress rehearsal. With the development and production of launch capabilities on Virginia soil, we've got plenty of roles to fill. From developing our new large launch vehicle Neutron to building satellites and their components for constellations and interplanetary missions, there's something for people from all areas of expertise. Over the last year, RocketLab has expanded to even more locations across the United States, which means more opportunities to join RocketLab no matter where you call home. We'll soon be updating our website with more information about the internship programs available at each of our 9 RocketLab global sites. And of course, we are constantly seeking new talent and inspired aerospace professionals to join us in our mission to go to space to improve life on Earth. Let's hear from some of the team about what life is like working at RocketLab.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Engine
3, 2, 1.
Lift off, vehicles get the pad.
Yeah, for me, I just really love the mission of the company. I think as you look at what we do and the challenges we take on, we don't do easy things, so we look for people that are motivated by that. Joining a company that's not just a job, it is part of the mission of what we're doing and trying to make life better on Earth via doing incredible things in outer space.
The reason I joined, I was in a rocket club in college. With a lot of the rocket building in general, it's all kind of scrappy. Let's make it work. And so you just have all this passion behind it. And so I really just wanted to be part of the industry.
I was excited when I got a position for here. I'm like, oh, now I get to go above in space and see how the great beyond is.
I know it's kind of daunting. Manufacturing doesn't look all that glamorous, but it really is very, very exciting to take a product and physically work on it yourself and manufacture it, make it work, and then fly it.
Archimedes being the next engine that we're building for Neutron, which is the next rocket, which is going to be integrated and built in Virginia, along with a bunch of other deep space stuff. We're going to Venus, we're going to Mars. There's just it's endless possibilities.
Oh man, every launch feels like you just won the Super Bowl, honestly. It's a ton of effort. It's usually dozens of people putting their effort in over time. And so when you finally see that launch,
it's awesome. Yeah, you could hear a pin drop in the room as we're all watching the launch, right? And everybody's tuned in, and we know exactly which parts on every launch.
Neutron is going to be probably one of the most innovative rockets in the world, right? It's unique designs from the structure all the way down to the engines. But beyond that, in Virginia, we're starting from scratch, right? You have the opportunity to really develop something and have a major impact on not only the design of the product, but also the design of the building, the facilities, the process, and the launch complex itself, which to me is an incredible opportunity. I would love to do something like that.
Lift off, vehicles get the pad.
To find out about our internships and open roles, check out the careers section of our website. As we approach T-minus 3 minutes in the count, we're approaching Electron's auto-sequence start, which engages at T-minus 2 minutes. As day is about to break on Launch Complex 1, the team in range control are tracking no issues with the range, the weather remains clear, and all surrounding areas are within safety parameters. With LOX loading near completion, Electron is almost ready to head to space. Let's hand things over to the team in mission control and listen in to the last few minutes. I'll be back with you shortly.
Thank you. Dude, that's strange. I feel like not. I know that this is New Zealand, but I hear you hear Welsh people talking. You hear they say words the same way that you do.
All stations LD on mission. From now on, there should be no red flags in your critical LCCs. VCON LD mission.
LD VCON.
Confirm all expected flight computer ASGOs are green.
Confirmed ASGOs are green.
Lock auto sequence and confirm.
Confirmed auto sequence is locked.
Okay, all stations, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes.
Commercial satellite
LD
launch
go
for General
launch.
Atomics.
LD Shadow, confirm go for launch.
Confirm, go for launch.
That was Firefly 0. And Firefly's last launch did make it into orbit. What's up, AP? Good morning.
Discovery, go at throttle up. Vehicles on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
It's just kind of how it happens, Vin. Zero. I know what you mean.
Locks load complete. Lock system and restart.
Yeah, Baxi, I know. You know what the messed up part is? I know why that happened, but I'm not saying. I can't say it. No concrete source.
All helium anti-gas ring disabled.
Okay. Inside of 1 minute here. Can you speculate? The second stage shut off too early. That's what happened. I called it when it happened. It was 7 seconds. 7 seconds too early.
High flow engine purge enabled.
Okay. Yeah, he would, but that's why I'm not him.
Deluge activated.
Pad deluge system is on. We're inside of 30 seconds here.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Thing's gonna go.
5.
These engines
4,
fire real fast.
3.
Ignition.
2.
8.
1.
Extend it.
Liftoff.
All right. 5th launch this week. Argos is in the air. Oh, something came off. Some hot came off that thing.
Nominal.
You sure, Vulcan?
T plus 38 seconds, and our 31st Electron has lifted off from the pad
That's
at
fine.
RocketLab.
This is okay,
Launch
guys. That's
Complex
ice
1.
coming off the booster.
Electron is powering its way to orbit for General Atomics. The next milestone
We'll look at
after
the replay.
liftoff
We'll
is
see.
max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure. This is the moment during launch when the forces on Electron are at their peak, causing the most amount of stress on the rocket. Let's listen in for the call from Mission Control that Electron has cleared through.
It could have been
max
frost
Q.
that was just being backlit by the light, guys. Yeah, that happens. A lot of ice comes off in the first 5 seconds. Maximum dynamic pressure.
HV battery discharge nominal.
That's confirmation from Mission Control. Electron has successfully throttled down, passed through max Q, and ramped back up ahead of stage separation. We're currently traveling at over 2,000 kilometers per hour and at an altitude of over 20 kilometers. The next 3 milestones happen in relatively quick succession, within seconds of each other. First things first is MECO, or main engine cutoff. The 9 Rutherford engines will throttle down and then shut down completely before step 2 of this sequence. Separation of the first and second stages is next, and you'll see the first stage drop away from the stage 2 body. And lastly, to continue our journey to orbital insertion, we'll see ignition of the single Rutherford engine on Electron's second stage, continuing the journey to deliver the Gazelle spacecraft to its destination.
"15 seconds to MECO.
MECO confirm.
Engine cut off.
Stage separation successful.
Got a good staging.
Ignition.
Good ignition. Yep, everything looks good there.
And with the nozzle extension on the stage 2 Rutherford engine glowing, we've had successful MECO, separation,
I'm not sure if there's
and
a
stage
recovery
2
this time,
ignition.
Jim.
Now that we've passed through the harshest part of Earth's atmosphere, we no longer need to protect the payloads, so we can eject the fairing halves to
You'll
save
see the
some
fairings
mass.
pop up and
Let's
they'll
keep an
fly
eye on
into
your
the
screens
frame
to
over
catch a
here.
glimpse.
Stand by for the call for fairing separation confirmed. There they go.
You might have caught a flash of it there on your screen. This fairing has successfully ejected. Stage 2 is continuing nominally
Good.
with its
See
General
it down
Atomics payload to orbit. The vehicle is currently at over 120 kilometers of altitude and reaching speeds of more than
Nice, mate.
8,500 kilometers per hour.
That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, they did this last time. That's right.
Guidance is nominal.
Stage 2 propulsion is nominal.
Everything is looking great at the start of our Stage 2 burn. That nozzle
Bucket
extension is
there
glowing red hot as
a
Electron
trajectory
powers through
indicator.
space
It
at
must
over
have had a loss of
9,000
signal for a
kilometers per
second during
hour.
staging.
You'll see on the right of your screen those propellant levels depleting slowly, with about 76% of liquid oxygen and 75% of RP1 kerosene remaining.
Yeah, Fastfly, I'm not sure why that bucket there must just be a hiccup in telemetry. But I'm not sure. Everything else seems to be following a nominal track here.
If you're just joining us, we're live for our 31st Electron mission at Argos Up From Here for General Atomics.
Getting a
After a
slight
successful
divergence
liftoff at
between
0609 local time, we're in the first part of our
current
Stage 2
nominal.
burn. And in case you weren't aware, this week is actually World Space Week, an international celebration of the space
I don't know if
industry
that was
and
the
the part it
encoder.
plays in the future of humanity. The theme for
See,
this
the
week
encoder's
is
kinda
space
taking
and
a dump down
sustainability.
there.
This mission for General Atomics contributes to global sustainability by enabling scientists to monitor the behaviors and health of wildlife. Follow our social media channels for more World Space Week updates.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before either, Rhino. Yeah, Phoenix, I think it's just a hiccup or something. But I'm noticing a slight divergence. They're lofted. It's a lofted trajectory, just slightly. It's the red line slightly above the white, and they seem to be diverging not very much. So so they're getting a slight overperformance out of that
Those familiar with our
stage.
3D
That's cool that they're
printed
showing the
engines will
telemetry.
know
Guys.
that
That's
Rutherford
pretty awesome
engines use
transparency.
batteries to power their propellant pumps.
As
But
long as it's in the
much
track,
like
it's
anything
fine.
that runs on batteries, that power source gets depleted, and soon a fresh battery is required to keep things going.
Okay.
The process of switching out this power source mid-flight is what we call the battery hot swap. You should see the battery packs falling away, that shiny
Yeah.
silver object on the right of your screen.
Watch this.
So let's listen in for the call
Gotta
out
swap
from
the
Mission
batteries.
Control.
So the Rutherford engines on Electron, first and second stage. The second stage is a vacuum optimized one with that nozzle right there. They have electric motors turning.
Stage 2 propulsion still nominal.
They have electric motors.
Swap successful.
Oh, there we go. Bye bye. It's gonna burn. The batteries will burn up in the atmosphere. The motors pumps are driven by electric.
And battery hot swap is confirmed.
The rocket motors
Stage
pumps are
2 engine
driven
is
by electric
powering
motors.
the General Atomics payload to its destination orbit at 750 kilometers above Earth at an inclination of 98 degrees. No, not the 90s pop group, but a Sun Synchronous Orbit, or SSO. This allows the satellite to be positioned over the same location on
again.
Earth at the same solar time every day. We're well above the Kármán line now and on our way to orbit. Just before, you might have seen the
don't do that
battery
again.
hot swap, where we switched out the depleted batteries from feeding the Rutherford pumps on the second stage engine with a new one. The pumps are driven by an electric motor which provides fuel and oxidizer to the combustion chamber, spinning at a rate of over 42,000 RPM.
What she said. Once again, they're on a slightly lofted trajectory here, but it looks like the trajectory is converging back to nominal. Once again, as long as these two lines don't get too far away from each other, you're fine. The rocket has like an
The
imaginary...
vehicle with payload is healthy, currently traveling at speeds of over 18,000 kilometers per hour and at an altitude of over 290 kilometers.
About 11,000
This launch
miles
marks
an
our
hour.
31st mission
About
and our
halfway to
8th
orbit.
for this year, which is now our highest number of launches in a year, and we still have plenty of 2022 left. As I mentioned earlier, our first mission from
Yeah,
LC2
lines are
in Wallops,
converging.
Virginia
Their guidance
is slated
system is
for the end of
compensating
this
for a
year,
lofted
and we're all
trajectory.
very excited to baptize our third launch pad in fire from those 9 Rutherford engines.
Yeah, see the red line is diverging back in. Their guidance system compensated for a first stage loft. Interesting. Pretty cool.
A quick update from Mission Control for our 31st Electron mission. It goes up from here.
Yeah, see?
Electron is
Look, the lines are
cruising at a
converging
speed
again.
of over 22,000 kilometers per hour, and it's in an altitude of just over 300 kilometers. With just 10% LOX remaining and 10% RP1 remaining, we're coming up on SECO or second engine cutoff ahead of kick stage separation.
It's wind and stuff, guys. There's like an imaginary track around the rocket. So think like a kilometer in every direction. And you know, if you have a radius off of the ideal trajectory from the rocket, right? There's a radius, and it goes around like, I don't know, 6/10 of a mile or about a kilometer, right? If the rocket goes out of that track, then it's no good. But as long as you're inside of that, you're fine. I mean, the wind can blow the thing around. Electron is a very light rocket, so the wind can blow it in one direction or another. That could explain the lofted trajectory. Okay, we have second stage engine cutoff. There was a purge.
Stage 3 separation
Purge gas.
confirmed.
Everything
Much
looked
like
good there.
main engine cutoff, the Stage 2 Rutherford has now throttled down before the stage separates from the kick stage as it continues on to payload deployment in the next 40 minutes or so. You've seen it on your screen.
It compensated,
The Rutherford engine
Orion,
on
but
Electron
something
Stage 2
a little
successfully
funky
throttled down,
happened there, and I'm
Stage
not sure
2,
what
the
it
kick
was.
stage,
But it's
now have
okay. It
separated.
compensated for
The
it.
kick stage will now enter what we call a coast phase.
I'm not
For the
sure,
next
Gold.
45 minutes or so, the kick stage will be in an elliptical orbit around Earth before the Curie engine ignites and raises the kick stage's perigee to put us in a circular sun-synchronous orbit we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. From here, we'll deploy General Atomics' Gazelle satellite. We won't have live video feed from kick stage of payload deployment on this mission, but we will stay with you on this webcast to bring you a simulated view of this process. While we're in this coast phase around the Earth, we'll also take a bit of a break on the webcast, but we will be back with you closer to payload deployment to listen in on those final moments from mission control, with payload deployment expected to take place at about T plus 55 minutes. I'll see you back here soon.
I'm going to go back and look at that replay. I want to see if something came off the rocket, because that first stage trajectory, it's cool that RocketLab, so first of all, it's cool that RocketLab showed the telemetry. That's really freaking cool. That's cool. That's awesome transparency. That's really, 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 really cool. Not everybody has the balls to show that. That's, you know, because we could tell that first stage overperformed here. This is first stage overperformance, if I'm looking at this correctly. The current altitude is slightly a high comparatively to nominal, so it looks like their closed loop guidance system compensated for it and got the red line to converge back with the nominal a second ago. But that means that something didn't go exactly right there. But then again, guys, dude, that's why they say nominal and not normal. Nominal means you're within a certain amount of within a certain range. Okay, like not every rocket launch is going to be like pinpoint accuracy, right? That's what makes like ULA so good. That's why people still fly on ULA, for instance, because ULA has pinpoint accuracy. If their guidance system says it's going to get it to like a 500-kilometer circular orbit, Centaur will get it to a 500-kilometer circular exactly. Their pinpoint accuracy. Not everybody is that accurate with their insertion, but it's okay. You can compensate. Just like in Kerbal, you don't get it exactly right. You can make some adjustments here and there. That's fine. But I thought I saw something come off the rocket. It could have been a lens flare or something, but we'll see. Let me back it up here and we'll watch it again. I mean, it was probably just illuminated ice, but I'm not 100% sure. That's what I'm talking about right there. I don't know, man. You could see something come off of that, whatever that is right there. I'm going to chalk that one up to a lens flare, Vulcan. I think Vulcan was right. I think. Who knows, though? How did ULA get so good with their accuracy? They have a lot of technical expertise on that team, in that company over there, Sile. A lot of technical expertise. It's really hard to get something that accurate. Also, RL10s. The RL10 is an amazing engine. It's frankly ridiculous for what it does. I don't know, fellas. Lens flare or not? I mean, check the acceleration. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But either way, there was a slight overperformance, but it compensated just fine. Yeah, Mike, that looks like debris to me, but I don't know. It's hard to say. It could have just been ice coming off of it, but it definitely looks like it's like on fire. But who knows? All right, guys. Well, it's going to be a little while before deployment. Rocket seems to have performed well regardless. Yeah, it performed just fine, but
Stage throttle down before the Curie engine ignite.
I'm looking to see if there's
Like main engine.
anybody here that looks like they're not happy.
Throttle down before the stage separates from the kick stage as it continues on to payload deployment in the next 40 minutes or so.
It looks all right.
You've seen it on your screen. The Rutherford engine on Electron stage.
Another telltale sign if something is going very wrong, guys, and you could say that, oh, come on, that's not how this is. But dude, usually it's right. Another telltale sign for stuff going wrong is if they show mission control and people are doing this. Or this. Or this. Or this. If they're doing the not like this, that means it's gone very wrong. That's, it happens every time. Every time. If you see one of the people in mission control going like this, or giving it, or if they're giving it the, why did it do that face, then you know something's bad. But here, like I have RocketLab's control up. I don't see anybody in particular making that face, except for that guy. That guy's making the, okay.
The Rutherford engine on
I don't see anybody going like this, though. No, the mission controllers don't usually get, like, they don't usually do that. The mission, I'm telling you, the flight controllers are usually sit there, and if it's a blank stare, like the kind of stare that you have when you're playing video games, you know what I'm talking about. Like, if it's a blank stare like that, that means everything's going fine. If it's just, then it's good. But if you get the, why did it do that? Face, that means something's weird. But if you see this, oh, that's not good. The engineer entering in problem-solving mode if there's an anomaly. Bingo. Yeah, I don't see anybody here in problem-solving mode, Rocket Guy. Maybe except for that guy with the guy with the man bun over there. This guy looks kind of confused. But that could just, I mean, I look confused just sitting here, like, so, I mean, I don't know. Or, Rocket, did you see the overperformance? They had some heck of an overperformance right here.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Look at the deviation. Hey, Kronos, 17-month resub. Yeah, slight overperformance. I don't know if it was first stage overperformance or not. Because at staging, it seems to be okay. Uh. Yeah, I don't know. Guys, I'm not trying to, just for what it's worth, I'm not trying to suggest like, oh, Rocket Lab sucks, they can't launch it, oh, they overperformed. It's just something to note. Every time you launch the vehicle, you're going to learn something new. Even if the mission goes 100% how you expected, you're going to learn that your numbers are good. You know what I mean? You got to learn something new every time. Because no rocket launch, even if the same rocket, is going to be exactly the same. Look at Falcon 9 yesterday. Just another routine launch, right? Nope. They had problems with a helium leak. That's why Falcon 9 scrubbed. So, I mean, dude, you could launch the same thing 1,000 times. It's going to do something slightly different every single time. And it's important to look at this stuff. That's why if I see something, I'm gonna say it. You know, if I see something like a piece coming off the rocket or staging a little bit too early or something like that, I'll notice it. I'll make it a thing to make sure that, you know, we that you guys see it. What's the meme for catastrophe? Not like this. You see a not like this, that means something's gone very wrong. Don't forget that the first stage may be open loop, which means it will never perfectly track the trajectories. Second stage handles deviation, so it might not be an overperformance, just deviation on the first stage. Yep. The Falcon go tonight then? Yeah, it's targeting around 7 o'clock Eastern, Nate, so 5-hour 30 from now. Is it fair to compare trajectories with other launches when we aren't given data for other launches? How do we know other trajectories aren't like that?